Listen, they got an extension for Josh Allen. I also think Joey Bosa and receiver Josh Palmer are upgrades. The extension, by the way, is fairly team-friendly to allow for some flexibility. I thought for much of the year last year they were the best team, and I think they've upgraded. I think Joey Bosa is a better version of Von Miller, who was expensive and hurt a lot and became kind of a pass rusher only. I have Buffalo at 4.
Number 3.
Yeah. I think with the Bills, I kind of put them in a very similar category to the Ravens. I really kind of talk about them hand in hand in terms of like, it's now, right? The time is now. At this point, like, let's just take Colin's hierarchy. Let's just say like it is a fact, right? Like, let's just say the man's a genius, knows everything. It's a fact. It would be indefensible to have the Rams leapfrog you and be a better top team. And it would be indefensible that if we're saying that the Chiefs are now worse, that they're taking a step back, it would only be acceptable to have the Bills or the Ravens beat each other and then still go on to win the Super Bowl. Outside of maybe say like the Eagles repeating or something, because then that would just show how truly dominant, like, that's their run. I wouldn't say that the Eagles leapfrogged them, because the Eagles have been great, for years. They're a very highly run team. But it would be kind of indefensible to be like, how would this happen? Or if the Chargers now come out, the Chargers leapfrog the Bills, right? Or the Lions are able to still be great and leapfrog the Bills. Like it would be an easier pill to swallow if you say, hey, the Ravens, because you're like, listen, that's a great roster, that's Lamar Jackson. Like, you could understand it, you could explain it, at least it could make a little bit more sense. But at this point, it's kind of just like, huh? Like, you're just like, no, the Rams can't be better than us. They just can't. They can't. And even if you want to take a more hard-nosed look at it, you could be like, well, the Ravens shouldn't be either. Because you'd be like, yeah, Lamar Jackson's great, but like, we should be able to build a better team, and Josh Allen is the better quarterback. Like, that's got to be your perspective with all of this. And it's interesting because if you look at PFF's rankings, they have them at 4. They have the Detroit Lions 3, Philadelphia Eagles 2, Baltimore Ravens 1. This is interesting because since it's PFF, I don't know if they're considering coaching in this regard, if it's just kind of like the roster construction itself, because it just says, the power rankings following the free agency frenzy. So it's not completely clear to me, because even here they say, an offense led by the highest graded quarterback, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm still going with Josh Allen. I just don't care what anyone says. So again, and obviously these are just kind of rankings because they still got the Chiefs at 5. And you have to imagine the Chiefs, like, if the Chiefs are able to endure all the stuff that they've been able to endure, and they still somehow to be better or go further than the Buffalo Bills, I just don't know how Buffalo Bills fans don't just absolutely lose their mind, and just, especially after seeing what the Eagles did to the to the Chiefs. So yeah, I mean, when you look at something like this and you're saying, okay, the Bills are top 4, like, it does become kind of a deja vu thing, because we know the Bills are going to be, again, as long as injuries are taken care of, it's just like, the Bills are going to be a top team. They're going to be great. They're going to win some great regular season games. Maybe they beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Maybe they don't. The Ravens, whatever. Come time playoffs, things are going to be real. Things are going to get crazy. No matter how the game starts, the way how it ends is going to be like, oh boy, here we are. It's coming down to the final 10 seconds of this game. Like, you just know what you're in for. And that's what remains to be the question. Like, how do they finally ensure who they are, right? How do they show to be a team that not only is better than the other teams, but just also better prepared? that's what I also feel as though lacked from this Buffalo Bills team, in a lot of these games, that you're just kind of like even a game where they seemingly balled and played great, like against the Detroit Lions. I looked at a game like that and I was just kind of like, this was just an offense, and especially Josh Allen, who's just like, he's just having a day, man. Right? I wasn't looking at it and just being like, this was clever football, this was a smart game plan, this was that. I was just like, Josh Allen just being a beast. And another highlight of that was against the Rams, because they were ill prepared. They shot themselves in the foot, but that Josh Allen's greatness is what even made it even remotely a game. And that's probably even a better example. And that's what I'm looking forward to this season, of just like the actual preparedness. And that's why I make very similar arguments for the Ravens. It's just like, I want to see the game plans lead to wins rather than just the dudes that, the Josh Allens, the Lamars, et cetera, lead to the wins. I want to point and be like, that was an awesome quarter with some high level code. Like that is a coaching masterclass. And we even saw the Chiefs play the Bills, and I was like, that was an Andy Reid and Spags masterclass. Now that was, Andy Reid put on a masterclass for Patrick Mahomes against the Bills. And it was the opposite. The opposite of a masterclass for the Bills coaching staff, especially offensively, and a masterclass in Josh Allen doing everything he can to just try to find a way to win. I want to see the coaching masterclass. That's how you win these games. And that's why you have like a Sean McVay led Rams be ranked number 2, because they have the roster and the coaching combination. And the Eagles had the masterclass, especially defensively coaching, and they got the roster. So I'm just looking for the Bills to be able to put this all together, more than anything. Again, like I said, in all, because I've pretty much now broken down all these teams in this top 10. I'm so much more or less concerned about where these numbers exactly are right now, in terms of like, oh, how could the Ravens be above the Bills when the Bills beat them in the playoffs last year? It's just like, I'm not going to have that debate right now in March. I'm just not. And that's why it's like more of an interesting factor to be like, oh, you're putting the Rams ahead of the Bills. And what does that say about the Bills then? Like, if that's actually true, which I'm not saying it is, but like, let's just say that is actually true. It's like, well, then how did we get here? And how could that be possible when I will take Josh Allen over, especially who Matthew Stafford is in 2025? It wouldn't even be a hesitation. Even if we just said you only have 1 year, we're not looking into the future, anything like that. I am taking Josh Allen in a heartbeat. But the best thing that the Rams got going for them is honestly Sean McVay. And so that is where some of the disadvantages comes from the Bills, and where some of the advantages comes from the Chiefs. But if we're saying that this roster for the Chiefs has actually taken a step back, and it's just come down to consistently the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens, it's like, all right, how do we make this year different? How do we make this year different? You can't let the Chargers leapfrog you. You can't let the Broncos leapfrog you. I know the Texans aren't there, but you can't let the Texans leapfrog you. And if the Chiefs are taking a true back seat, a true step back, but then you better seize that opportunity. You better come away with the win, especially in the playoffs. And anything less than that is just, indefensible. And quite frankly, the only way you lose to the Ravens is if the Ravens clearly show that, yeah, we got the squad, dude. We have an awesome roster, right? Where everyone's just talking about, oh my God, this team's got 12 Pro Bowlers and 7 All-Pro, like that. That's the only way. But if it's a similar season how the Ravens played last year, and et cetera, then it's just like, dude, you gotta execute, you gotta win. So, it's a little bit less interesting when you're talking about a team who's been as great and as, with a quarterback who's been as successful as Josh Allen, to try to be like, are they top 4? Are they top 2? Are they top 3? It's just kind of like, it just matters less. It's a little bit more interesting when you're talking about a team like the Broncos, who haven't been there in a while, the Commanders, the Eagles. They just won the Super Bowl last year, so are they still considered to be the best team in the NFL? Like those conversations are a little bit more interesting, actually, in a weird way. But if we're talking about a team like the Bills and the Ravens, it's kind of just like, bro, we know you've been great for years now. For years, whether you're considered the top 2 team or the 1 team or the 3, like it doesn't. It's like it's so irrelevant at this point. But it is what it is. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills being ranked 4th according to Colin Cowherd? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.